This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
What are you looking for in a new smart TV? 4K picture quality, high quality and immersive sound, a sleek design? All of those are givens, but only the new Roku Pro Series has all of those and the Roku streaming experience, an award-winning OS. Get fast, easy access to all your apps like iHeart, where you can stream all your favorite music, radio, and podcasts all day, and regular all-inclusive trips to Roku City. The new Roku Pro Series, a smart TV built by the streaming pros.
Fan.
Wild fans, the playoffs are calling. Get your tickets now for games 3 and 4. Secure your tickets today at wild.com/hockey tickets.
It's a couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 and B. The legendary Mark Rosen joins us now. And do you want me to just pay you the bet now? Because the Lakers are going to win it.
No, the Wolves are going to win the series. I mean, I think they're going to win it.
Wait. You made a $2 bet that said
$2.
But you said the Lakers were going to win, and now you've changed your mind because of what's happened in the first two games.
No, yes. I mean, okay. I know a question of changing my mind. I mean, it's when we make these ridiculous bets.
They're not ridiculous.
Well, they are to me.
I'm enjoying betting.
I know you are, and that's why I get enjoyment out of it. Because, win or lose, I get enjoyment out of the fact that you partake in this.
Here's what I'll tell you. I've come to have a healthy respect. I like to, but I'm just like everything says. But bet responsibly. Bet with your head and not your heart. It's why I just keep them.
Well learned.
I just keep them very small. $2. Right. I mean, $2? The $20 bet was huge.
That was huge. Yeah, it was.
That's a lot of money.
6 from you at that time too. So I don't know. I still think. I did. I mean, I like a lot of folks. I stayed up. It worked out pretty well. I mean, first of all, I want to take a step back and just go. How, I mean, and it's going to continue, obviously, this whole weekend. But we shouldn't take it for granted because it's been a long time. It's been I think since 2003 that the Wolves and the Wild played on the same night in the playoffs. Was last night. I think it was the first time since 2003.
2000?
Yes, because I remember I was covering the Wild, in Colorado, Vancouver, when they went on that run in the Western Conference. And I remember looking at the TV and the Wolves were playing, I think, the Lakers. I don't know. And they weren't, that was a year before, the whole thing had kind of exploded with KG and Sprewell and Cassell and everything. But, the fact that so many other cities, in particular, like Boston, Chicago,
Happens all the time.
They go through, this is a common occurrence for them. They have
programming predicament happens to them every year.
I know it. And so we have Wolves, Wild, Draft, all weekend. I mean, all weekend long. And it's for last night. If you want to, complain about the late, I understand. I got up, stayed up till 1:15, whatever, because the Wild were winning. And
you're retired. You can sleep in a little if you want.
Well, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I still had to get up early and get some things done this morning, but that's okay. But the point of the matter is, you can't take it for granted, and I hope it's going to continue. Obviously, starting tomorrow night again. You got tomorrow night the draft. You get the Wild playing Friday at home. You get the Wolves here Friday night. The Wild playing on Saturday afternoon again. So it's a fun time. But having said that, yeah, it's. You hope that both teams obviously can keep this thing rolling for a while. It's so early. You realize when you have a series, whether it's you're talking about Vegas and the Wild or the Wolves and the Lakers, this is the first series of how many. This is why these playoffs go on till June. You can't get too wrapped up in one game unless you're the Memphis Grizzlies and are going to get blown out in 4 by Oklahoma City.
I wouldn't write off that Memphis Clippers.
Yeah, well, okay. Maybe they'll play better at home. I don't know. But it was... the Wolves game was pretty choppy last night. I mean, it wasn't great basketball on either side. I mean, neither team could make a 3-point shot. The Wolves were 5 for 25. The Lakers were 6 for 29. Both shot 20% from 3-point shots. It didn't feel like the Wolves were. It looked like the Wolves were happy to get a split. And that's the way.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
It just felt that way when they got outscored in the first quarter, 34-15. It's like,
well, the way
whatever it was.
The way it looked like to me is that in Game 1, the Lakers just weren't ready for that physicality and that kind of vim and vigor that the Wolves showed. And it seemed like last night it was just the opposite. It seems like the Wolves were caught off guard because it was it 35-15 or something?
Yeah, 34-15 in the quarter.
It was almost like they weren't expecting a physical and a real concerted effort in response to the loss by the Lakers.
Which is crazy because
exactly.
Yeah, you knew that they were going to exactly come out like that. But I think as the game wore on and the Wolves got into a little bit more of a routine and a little more of a pattern, and even though they weren't making the 3-point shots, and I mean, in the first half in particular, I mean, you got Naz Reid and DiVincenzo both in foul trouble, both sitting on the bench pretty much most of the first half, so they were not a factor at all. And so by the time they get back in, it was really hard for them to ever get into a rhythm, and really neither one ever did. But I think as they cut into the lead, and there was a moment with they cut it to 9, and they had a chance.
Twice they cut it to 9.
They had a chance to cut it to potentially 6. Edwards is dribbling around midcourt, and goes behind his back, and LeBron steals the ball from him and goes in for an easy layup, and it's like it's over. And that's it's a series, it's a long series, but I still feel pretty confident about the relative strength of the bench of the Wolves against the Lakers, what they can do.
Well, they can't do what they did last night. If they do that, it'll be a short series because the bench did not really.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think we're going to see a lot more of what happened in the first game. And I heard, so you don't think I'm stealing somebody's take, God forbid. I was driving around this morning after running errands and working out. I did hear, Double T, who I have the highest respect for, Trent Tucker, was talking about Naz Reid, and he said, what I want to see, this is Trent's words, what I want to see Naz do, of course he's going to shoot some 3-pointers, but he's so good at getting to the basket. I think the Wolves have to continue to drive the basket, try to get inside of these guys and force them, to follow you or to beat them that way. And then that'll maybe open up the 3-point shots again. But I just think that Naz, DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think Terrence Shannon played only 2 minutes, but he put a lot of energy in those 2 minutes. I'd like to see him play more. I don't know. I thought maybe last night, given the fact that they needed a boost, that Finch may have played him a little bit more last night, just to say, hey, you guys aren't getting it done. Put the kid in there. Let him do some things for a while. So, it was just kind of a choppy game. And again, not surprised that the Lakers did it.
I look at some of the quotes, and they do leave me a bit. And I know Ant. I think sometimes Ant is a lot like B, in which he talks first and then thinks about what he said later, or maybe doesn't think about it. But I don't know if I should be. At least my eyebrows were raised by this quote. He says about what about the officiating. He says, no answer. If I have an answer, they're going to find. No, that's not the quote I was looking for. Where was the quote about? He was here. It is. He says, they figured out too late the offense was anemic, especially compared to game one when they hit 21 3-pointers thanks to good ball movement. That dried up, and they were just 5 for 25. No player scored in double figures except Edwards and Randall. Edwards said it was hard for him to figure out how the Lakers were defending with the heavy gap help. And he says, this is the first time I've seen this one. Every time I caught the ball at the top, it was kind of like it was in a zone. Even when you cut guys through, they just stayed, so I got to be ready to make those reads. And, you've been in the league 5 years, and maybe he'd never seen this before, but I sometimes wonders, what will they throw at him next that he hasn't seen? Because he had the same comment about a zone defense late in the season, I think when they lost to, I don't recall. But
I know what you mean. I remember it.
He said,
I hadn't seen that before.
He said, I haven't, he goes, the zone is different here than it was in AAU. And I was like, yeah, I guess it would be. So I look at that, and I'm not saying, well, now we're done, but I don't know if does the inexperience still, because it's obvious the Lakers had 2 days to take a look at a little film,
right.
And then Redick got with LeBron and Luka and everybody else, and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And Ant still had a good game. He scored a lot of points. And he played overall pretty well, but you just wonder what trick does LA have up their sleeve next, and then what can Finch do to counter these things?
I don't know if as far as tricks go. I think it's going to come down in a series like this to just flat out personnel. Players win, and obviously coaching can make a difference, and depending on what rotation you're using and how you decide to try to double Doncic to make him work a little harder than he is right now, and forcing someone else on that team to beat you, especially when they come off the bench, and trying to wear him down, because it looks like when he's exerting a lot of energy, and he does get tired. You could tell it that when he gets to the bench, he's a little gassed.
Finch said he thought the team turned down some open 3-point looks, but other times the offense wasn't good enough to produce those looks. The quote is, I thought early on and throughout most of the game, we just didn't make the right play when it was in front of us. And again, that will happen to teams. They make the wrong play, but you don't want to make this a habit, especially when we're in the playoffs, because it's best of 7. It's not like, well, this is game 21 in an 82-game schedule. So, again,
I think the home court will mean something. I think you'd always have that discussion about whatever sport it is. We talk about it. We spend half the football season talking about, can the Vikings get home field advantage? And then many times it doesn't probably really make a lot of difference.
I don't think it makes that big of a difference. But the better teams usually win, no matter if they're playing on the road. You'll get some energy early with the crowd on their feet and roaring. But if the other team, here's what I'll tell you. I think home court advantage is one of the most overrated things there is in sports, because how many times do you hear teams, including the Wild? Remember the Wild? They were better on the road this year and at home. And what did the players say? There was a quote from at least one or two players that said something to the effect of, it's nice it's us against the world. Athletes they all like hushing the crowd, of shutting down the other team and then quieting the crowd. So I'm not saying that home court advantage doesn't make some difference, but I think once you get by that first few minutes, I think after that it's just the better team wins, the better prepared team wins. I think that's basically the best. Another stat from last night, if you're into those, game 1, Ant had 9 assists.
Right. Last
night, I think was it 0?
0 would be the answer.
0 assists. Now again, I'm not throwing it. I'm not blaming, but I think it's what it's what Ant was saying. I got to the top. They were doing things I hadn't seen before, and he wasn't able to get the ball to the right person, or at least wasn't able to assist.
Well, Randall was the only one who really had an impact from start to finish. He had the best game on the team.
That's correct. But I guess what I'm trying to stress is the best player on the team is Ant, and if Ant's going to have those kind of struggles, this could be detriment. He has got. I know they have help from other people, but your best player has to be at the top of his game,
and that includes assists.
That's exactly right. So that's the only thing that. But they're in a good spot. They split the series. It's tied at 1, and it's we'll see if they can take back Big Mo
We like to call it Big Mo.
Is that Friday?
Friday night, 8:30.
Friday night, and you'll be there courtside?
I'll be in media seat. No, I will not be courtside. No.
That could change, though.
No, I don't think it will. No, I will not be sitting. I'll be in my media seat.
What if
A-Rod calls
What
me?
if Rodriguez? I mean, you got his number. You guys are tight.
He's not going to.
How do you know?
Justin Jefferson will be sitting there.
All right, very good.
Guarantee you.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some Wild hockey with Mark Rosen, and then a couple of other items to get to as well here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
The Fan and BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword bank at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. The keyword is bank. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
What are you looking for in a new smart TV? 4K picture quality, high quality and immersive sound, a sleek design? All of those are givens, but only the new Roku Pro Series has all of those and the Roku streaming experience, an award-winning OS. Get fast, easy access to all your apps like iHeart, where you can stream all your favorite music, radio, and podcasts all day, and regular all-inclusive trips to Roku City. The new Roku Pro Series, a smart TV built by the streaming pros.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Head north with the power trip at Grandview Lodge, May 1st and 2nd. Join us Thursday night for fun and prizes. Then tune in Friday morning for the live broadcast and initials game. Book your stay today at KFAN.com. Keyword Grandview.
Can you just squeeze in that I'll be broadcasting the following day, Saturday, for Tee to Green, Craig Warrior, and me and Pinga? I mean, is that too much to ask? I mean, I know it's the power trip. I know they are like, they're like, it's like the Wizard of Oz. They're like the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow. They're the greatest thing on earth. But I'm going to be there too. I'm here.
Tee to Green, are you going to be talking about the pros not using as big of drivers anymore?
Yeah,
is that going to be the controversial topic?
That might be one of the topics that we might bring out, but I will be there as well. As a matter of fact, Sauce and I might play a little golf together when we're up there that weekend.
There you go.
So we're looking forward to that. But yes, from what I understand, it's been a big hit. The power trip joining us for the golf opener up at Grandview, and they'll be playing the initials game, so it should be a good time. So go to grandviewlodge.com and book your stay for this upcoming weekend. I'll be leaving Thursday. 10 and B will be the day after day one draft coverage from noon until 3. 10 and B, do you have are you starting to put together the framework of what the show is going to be, or haven't you even given it a second thought?
My only booking so far is Meat Sauce is going to play Program Password and then stay to talk draft.
Oh, okay. Very good.
So that's the only. Oh, and obviously you'll have. I'm assuming Lil B will be there on Friday.
Yeah, and then you'll probably get like the draft experts, Lieber and Burrs. Sorry, no, they're draft experts. Ron Johnson, all those guys, they're brilliant. So, but anyways, plenty of draft coverage. But we'll be up at Grandview, and we look forward to that. So it's interesting. The two winter sports teams, the Wolves dominate the Lakers in game one and then lose. Meanwhile, the Wild get dominated in game one and lose, and then they turn around, and last night they look like the much better team. They got contributions from other players other than the first line guys at Kaprizov and Boldy, even though Kaprizov and Boldy were brilliant again, and they come away with a 5-2 win, and they're all even there. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, Gus Bus kept them in it early, and that's what you have to do. I mean, Vegas is relentless, and they've been there, done that. They have 3 lines that are clicking most of the time. And
4 lines.
Or 4 lines, you're right. And it's a word I use, they're relentless. But kudos to the Wild for taking advantage of the few opportunities they did have and cashing in early and often. And I'm sure that crowd was absolutely stunned. Not 1-0, not 2-0, not 3-0. There was 4-0. And then, you're thinking, well, can they hold them off? Because that's just the normal thing as a Minnesota sports fan you think about. And they scored to make it 4-1. Then they got one early, and it's 4-2. And you're going, oh well, and that's that scary 2-goal lead. You don't want to have that. But they did a wonderful job, and you guys have already covered it. I mean, it was, for those who missed it, I mean, just the opportunity to watch Kirill Kaprizov play at a high level, and knowing what the Wild missed when he was out for such a lengthy time, and how you understand why he was in the conversation for MVP in the league. He is unlike. I mean, we had Marian Gaborik here, but his skill set is off the charts, and that pass. And again, you don't have to appreciate. It's sort of like comparing it to a football play that. I mean, throwing it on a dime when you got a defender hanging on somebody and on a rope like that. I mean, but the idea that he lifted, it wasn't on the ice. He lifted, the old saucer pass they call it, was extraordinary. And Boldy had to make a great move. He had a defender hanging all over him, and then not only had to get the puck and put it on his stick, but then he had to score. But the whole play was just poetry in motion, and that really was something to watch. And that was, and of course he scored the 200-foot goal to clinch it at the end, the empty netter. But yeah, it was very encouraging that they didn't play terrible in the first game. They just they got behind, and it's just kind of the way the game went. Now again, we just talked about home court advantage. Mm-hmm. Wild have been better away from home. The fans are going to be juiced up tomorrow night at X when they come here to play Vegas. It's a great opportunity to. With the series tied at 1-1, they're not going to be down. We were down 0-2, and now we got to win 2 in a row just to kind of keep our head above water. Even if you split the games here, you got yourself a chance. So it's fun.
Well, you mentioned the fans,
yeah,
and last night's game's obviously huge. Obviously, there's a big difference between 1-1 and 2-0. But just from a fan standpoint, bringing it back for Game 3,
right.
Like, we were getting a little bit of fan apathy towards the end of the season when they didn't have Kaprizov and Eriksson.
They were hard to watch.
It looks like they were going to blow it. Like, this is a team that hasn't had a lot of playoff success.
Correct.
Like, if you do lose, you're down 2-0 coming back home. Mm-hmm. Let's face it, your fans are going to be there tomorrow night going, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, it is.
We've already seen this before. Whereas now, like, they're going to have a little juice to them now because Boldy's been terrific and Kaprizov's been terrific. And
you like this club, don't you, Tinneby?
I'm just saying, like, last night was a big game in terms of how your home crowd is going to react to tomorrow night.
Yeah, and they did. They don't
give
have
give them a little belief.
Exactly. That's all you can ask for right now. I mean, you're playing a team that I think, by all accounts, is one of the Stanley Cup favorites to win it all, especially coming out of the West, which is always tough. And we've seen it time and time again in the NHL where. It doesn't really matter who finished first, second, or third. It's just, there's such parity in this league, and maybe the Wild can shake them up a little bit. Again, they're playing a team.
I picked them to win the series. I don't know what anybody else was thinking about.
Well, I know you did. You picked them.
I did indeed.
Yeah. So, good luck to. And again, you get the old adage: you get a hot goalie, and the guy who's playing at his best right now, and Gus is doing that. Brodin and the rest of the veteran Spurgeon, Zuccarello. I'm anxious to see after
like this club, don't
after Kaprizov got punched in the face last night, and they're not calling many penalties, which is I don't know how you feel about it, Tenna. I get your take on it, but I don't mind it. I mean, unless the old slew foot. I mean, who got dumped there?
Eriksson.
Yeah, that was an obvious call that should have been whistled. They didn't call it. But
did you jump off your chair and complain?
No, I saw the penalty, but they didn't call it. But they're not calling much of anything. But when Kaprizov and the scrum they had in front of the Wild net got punched in the face, I'm thinking, is this going to be one of those code of the NHL things where Foligno on tomorrow night, I don't know who the guy who hit
Haig is the one that hit Kaprizov.
Is it going to be one of those situations where they're going to put Foligno out there on the ice with him and he's going to say, hey, pal, here's the thing. You got to pay the price and fight me because you don't hit our best player in the face and get away with it. Because it was blatant. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if the code is the same in the playoffs.
I don't know, but I'm just saying if it's going to happen, that would be it. I agree. I heard, what's his name, the coach today talk about John Hines talk about that. We just kind of, we got to play our game. Just keep moving.
You got to play your game.
But that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen.
Well, I sensed some frustration last night when Kaprizov took the punch to the face, and I get it, right? Like the Wild deserve a power play in that instance, and you're upset. You're upset at the officials. I will just say, from a psychological standpoint, if they're trying to slew foot Eriksson Ek and they're trying to punch Kaprizov, that means there's frustration there on their part, and that's a good thing for your Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, it's starting to build up. I just like the fact that it's not a constant parade to the penalty box, and it's been physical.
I like parades.
Well, it's because you've watched our special teams over the years, so you don't want to parade to the penalty box.
Well, it took Vegas 3 seconds to score a power play goal the other night when they did get the first man advantage, and the Wild they had one. So if they keep officiating the games that way, I'm fine with it as long as it doesn't get out of hand. And there was a holding call here and there, but they're not sending guys to the box on a constant parade. As you like to say, I like parades too.
Other side of the break.
Yes, sir.
I think what this show is known for is really digging beneath the surface when it comes to hockey and basketball, NHL and NBA style. We'll do that. Plus your Twins Club. They got the get quick, get rich quick. No, win a game by snapping your slump.
Thanks to Byron Buxton. Holy cow.
Well,
there's what? The catch he made. I'm talking about. What?
Did you watch it?
I saw the highlight, yeah.
He did the old, I'm going to dive when I don't really have to.
Oh, I don't know. I think he had to.
10 of 8. What do you think?
I think he had to dive.
I don't think he had to dive on that.
He didn't have to dive. Watch the replay.
All right, I'll watch it more carefully.
He did it purposely.
His arm wasn't even fully extended when he caught it.
He just did it because he knew it was dramatic. It's just a great way to get on web
the
gems.
Game. I don't know how you make that determination when you're out there. Right?
Watch the replay closely.
All right. You're saying he over-dramatized.
He over-dramatized, which is okay. I've done the same thing.
On a daily basis.
I've over-dramatized.
It's like when Luka goes up for a 10-footer and gets a little bit of contact and then just falls all the way back. That's basically what Buxton did. He just embellished it a little bit.
And that's okay. I don't mind him doing that. I like it because it brings the fans out of their seats, and it was cool. We'll take a break and come back with one more segment to go here on The Fan.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you. Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include a lot more people than ourselves. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, we help plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because even though our business is helping guide your finances, our ambition is to make it mean so much more. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
It's a Wolves Back Talk Back Wednesday on KFAN, and we got your shot to win Timberwolves versus Lakers Game 3 tickets. Send us your talk back on the iHeartRadio app, telling us in 30 seconds or less how you think the Timberwolves beat the Lakers in this series. Stay tuned all day today to hear if you were selected as a winner.
Text messages pouring into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line is 64686. This one says, common two things about Buxton's catch last night. One, a catch like that shouldn't be a game-saving catch. You're playing the White Sox. There shouldn't be any game-saving moments. Beat them badly. Number two, when I saw that catch on Twitter last night, my first thought was common, because that was the most unnecessary dive I've seen. He just knows how to make it look dramatic. Another says, two things can be true at once. Buxton didn't need a dive for that catch, but it made it easier to catch rather than having to fully extend his arm and try to catch the ball, running full speed at a weird angle. My point is that him diving made that an easier catch, but people want to act like the dive makes an unbelievable catch when it really doesn't. And then there's this one that says, I knew Rosen was going to fall for the Buxton catch being unbelievable. His gullibility is adorable, but predictable. And he shouldn't feel bad. Ball guys like Gleeman fell for it, too. He literally could have just kept running and made the catch with ease. Look at the still shot. His elbow's at a 90-degree angle. But it's okay. Rosie's a showboat, too, and we're lucky to have him.
Well, what if he had banged into the wall if he ran full speed and then dislocated his shoulder? And you'd be saying, why didn't he dive for the ball? I didn't watch 1 second of the game.
You and Gleeman were gullible.
I saw the highlight. I didn't see the game. I was watching, like most people, I was watching the Wolves and then the Wild and the Wolves, and I know the Twins were playing the White Sox, and I'm not going to. I just didn't invest a lot of time in it, and I heard that
the whole thing started.
You didn't watch 1 second of it. No,
it's not even true.
No, you liar. But I heard that they had won the game, and so I saw the highlight, and it's, I'm watching it on my phone, okay? So, I mean, it's not the best view. I'm not watching it on a 64.
Did you look at it?
What's that?
Did you look at it a second time?
Yeah, I think I did. They showed it. I looked at it.
No, I mean during the break. Did you look at it now?
No, I did not. I'll look at it again. And you might be right. I don't know. I'm not in his shoes to decide
Larry
that.
Mandela guy is right. Your gullibility is adorable and predictable. Is adorable and predictable. That's what Larry Mandela guy said.
So is his comedy routine. It's talking about predictable. I have 5-6 daughters. Let me tell you about them when I get on an airplane.
I don't think he does the airplane joke anymore.
Yeah, that's Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
But he's a fat Jim Gaffigan.
He is. That's what he's been described.
That's what he's been known as.
Fat Jim Gaffigan. Yeah. So Twins win, and that's good for them. Now, I'll let Tennessee do this because I'm not. The only team I'm laser focused on in the NHL
are the Wild. Yes, sir.
Tennessee, how about any of the other series? Is there any interesting developments? Does there one team look like, well, it's really not going to matter anyway because this team is so good and so dominant that they're just
I don't think that exists in the sport of hockey.
All right.
Yeah, any of the playoff teams.
All right.
It's pretty early yet for all that anyway, but I agree. I mean, it doesn't seem to be.
Tennessee, is there any team out there that you see? Is there anything that's surprising you? Anything that is expected? Anything at all in what now most?
Well, I mean, if you would have told me going into the playoffs, before the Jason Robertson injury, I thought Dallas was going to be one of those teams that was primed to win a cup, and then They got the bad injury news with one of their best players, and they lose game 1 against Colorado, and were trailing in game 2, but they came back and won in overtime. So, I don't know if there's anything that sticks out to me.
Let's go to basketball then. How about you? Is there anything, other than Lakers, Wolves, we've dissected that. Is there anything out there that surprises you? You expected anything that's piqued your curiosity?
The game tonight, I know you're a Jimmy Buckets fan, and I understandably so. I think Golden State's the most, for a couple of reasons. First of all, the other 2 series tonight, I think, are already, the Celtics, they're going to win that in 4, maybe 5. I don't know. I don't think they're going to lose more than one game, maybe even not one game. And then there's the 2 other earlier games, like 15-point favorites. The only game that interesting tonight is Golden State against Houston. And Golden State did a great job of finishing that game the other night, again, with Curry and Butler. I'm interested in that because they're interesting to watch, number one. And number 2, if the Wolves can get past the Lakers, that's who they play next. And how delicious would that be to go from the Lakers, the Lake Show, to the Steph and Jimmy Buckets show, having him come back here and everything, the drama. Oklahoma City will eventually play the winner of the Clippers and Denver, and that potentially could be a pretty good series. I still think the Clippers are going to win that. That's been a really, both those games have been terrific, and I think the Clippers might have a little bit of an advantage. They're going back to LA now, I think, but that will be a great series. I don't know if there's anything there's nothing that's
well, to me it has, and that's been, and I know it's a 1-8, but Oklahoma City is just right now look like a steamroller. Yeah. They just destroyed Memphis. And I know Memphis is an 8th seed and this and the other thing, and I know they're the number 1 seed and they're the best record in basketball, but that's just a total and complete annihilation.
Yeah, and they're deep, they're talented, we know all that, but I think the only danger in having, if they continue to do this, they go to Memphis now, and if they win 4 in a row, is that, is it almost going to be too easy for them? Because they're going to have to ratchet it up against, especially if they play the Clippers, I think, the next round. That's just
but I don't think having a 7-game
it's going to make them mentally tougher.
No, I don't think. I think they're very comfortable with who they are, where they've been, where they're going, where they would love nothing better than to win 4-0 and just sit around and get rested and do scouting and do those.
Rightfully the favorite to come out of the West and go to the NBA Finals, and I wouldn't be upset about that. I thought they'd get there. They're a fun team to watch. They have everything, and that's the most well-rounded team I think in the league. And they proved it in the course of the regular season when the West was so competitive, and yet they just ran away with it. So that they continue that trend throughout these playoffs, then, hey, kudos to them. If they play the Celtics or the Cavs or whomever they face in the NBA Finals, I'll be rooting for Oklahoma City to win it. But no, other than the fact that I think, really, if the Wolves beat the Lakers, that would be the biggest upset from a national perspective. 100%. The Lakers had the third even though they won only one more game than the Wolves, it's the Lakers, and that's why everybody, all the network people, there's not one person who picked the Wolves to win that series, and so that's why even on face value, that would be the biggest upset. It's not the Miracle on Ice. I'm just saying that it's that they knock out LeBron and Doncic after this trade in the first round. That's a pretty big upset overall.
Getting back to the Golden State, Houston, if Golden State were to prevail and the Wolves do they come here, I don't think that Butler return to Minnesota would be a big deal.
Not really.
To the fans it would be. They would think it's because they remember what happened when he was here and how he left. But Big Meow isn't here anymore.
Right.
Wiggins isn't here anymore. My guess is I don't know how many players that are still on the team were there when that went down. I don't think there's many of them left. So it would just be the fans still remember how it all went down. So for the fans, it would be a big deal, and they would jeer Jimmy Butler. But I don't think Butler cares either way, and I don't think the players on the team care.
I don't either. Look at fans booed Chuck Knobloch coming back to the Metrodome for, there's been players who've left town, come back, and they keep booing him. I'm going, get over it. It's move on with your life. You want to boo Jimmy Butler? It was probably not the worst move in the world if they moved on from him, and he obviously has had some other issues with other teams. But enjoy his skill and enjoy trying to beat him. I mean, I think just the marquee attraction of having Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry and Draymond Green coming to town after the Lake show would be as good as it gets. And if it ends up being that, if that's as far as it goes, so be it. But because I still think the Wolves are probably a year away. We'll see what they do this offseason, but from fine-tuning things a little bit more. But I don't think they're certainly not the favorite to win the West.
But they don't have to. There's nobody they should be afraid of, though, right?
No, I mean, there's nobody they should be afraid of. But
so maybe this is the year.
Well, it'd take a lot. That's all I'm saying.
You're getting ripped.
Okay.
Must be nice to be Rosen. Say whatever he wants, and then when questions, he has excuses like, well, I was just watching on my phone. Well, I guess that's what the Hall of Fame buys you, all the excuses in the world. After all, the program has never run on accountability.
Wait, you were watching this person who wrote was glued to his set watching the Twins and the White Sox last night instead of watching the...
Well, the White Sox game ended pretty close when the others started because the game started at 6:40 start. So by the time the Wolves started the game, I think it might have been over.
So that person was watching intently.
I was.
You liar.
I'm not lying. I watched the game.
You watched the White Sox and the Twins.
Yes, I did. And I watched Wolves Lakers. Now I didn't watch the Wild to the end. I went to bed because they had a 4-2 lead. It was over.
I understand. That's the first time that you've watched the Wolves game pretty much all season.
Correct. Well, then because the games count now.
Yeah, but the White Sox Twins didn't.
At the beginning of the season, no, because every game games in April count just as much as they do in October. They count just as much.
You're watching Bailey Ober dueling the White Sox last night.
And he wiggled himself out of a number of jams last night. Now,
I love watching baseball. I just didn't watch the game. I didn't invest in my time last night.
The reason you don't need to watch Wolves game because we knew at the beginning of the season that they were going to make the playoffs. So the regular season was just what's the word I'm looking for? Was just an exercise in futility. There was no reason to watch it because we knew where they're. Mm-hmm. All we didn't know is where they're going to be
seated or playing.
So, but now the games actually mean something. Then there's this one. It's what it says. Common Rosie being suckered into thinking Buxton catch was amazing is a great example of how Rosie's mind works. He doesn't actually watch these games. Instead, he goes to his handheld, sees clips of local teams playing, checks what the local team experts say, then regurgitates the same info over and over and over. With how often Rosie doesn't think but regurgitates, we call it regurgitates. Wait, now
why do you
the 2 o'clock hour should be sponsored by Elks. Yeah, it is. Regurgitate.
We're going to use that moving forward.
You don't engage at all in social media,
do you? The 2 o'clock hour should be sponsored by Alka-Seltzer.
You never engage with anyone on social media, yet you engage with these trolls who write in. And you're trying to tell me that I watch the Wolves, I watch the Wild, I watched
but you didn't
a
watch
lot
the
of
Twins.
baseball. No, I did not. I was with my wife last night. We were having a wonderful conversation. I wasn't glued to my set watching the Twins and the White Sox. I watch a lot of baseball games. I've watched more baseball games than this guy could ever be in his lifetime. I could go recite. I just didn't watch last night's game, and I'm honest about it. I'm not regurgitating anything. I happened to see the highlight of Buxton making the catch. I saw it on my phone. I didn't see it anywhere else. Where else am I supposed to see it?
Rosie doesn't even root for the locals anymore. Why doesn't he just move to Chicago already?
Getting closer.
It's another one.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be sad when I'm gone. So then root for the locals. My God. I said the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl. What else do you want me to say?
I'm starting to think Rosen originally picked the Lakers to win this series because that's what all the national media did. Rosie's desire to be among the 1% national sports reporters is why he'd rather fit into the cool kids crowd and go with the basic pick. Have a backbone, Rosie. You're a local celebrity. Take the hometown team.
I do over and over and over again. I just said the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl. I haven't heard any chirping from anybody about that.
I agree.
And they are.
I agree with you.
They are. They got and I don't care who they draft tomorrow night.
You think? And now is that incumbent on who the starting quarterback is, McCarthy or Rodgers?
McCarthy's the starting quarterback. Rodgers isn't coming here. You can give up that little fantasy world that you have. No, he's not coming here. You want to bet?
How much you want to bet?
Name it.
50 cents.
No.
Oh, too rich for your blood, Mark?
Too rich for my blood. Hey, Raj.
50 cents is a bit much for you. Okay, I'll go $1.
Okay, fine.
$1. I'll say A-Rod will be the starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings in 2025. Tennessee, these power trip bets on that?
Please
I'm sure.
Please don't put that out on there.
I like gambling.
Please don't. It's embarrassing.
I like sports betting, but I just like to bet. They're called friendly wagers.
Why don't I just give you $2, go out and back, kick you in and then we'll call it a day. I'll give you the money.
You're just not certain enough about Rodgers not being the starter. You turned down the 50-cent bet. It was too true. You want to go 25 cents? I mean,
I'm fine with.
I like gambling responsibly.
Yeah, I understand.
Bet with my head, not with my heart.
Yeah.
Wish Diamond Joe's was a little closer. I'd put $1 on Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think they allow $1 bets.
Do they bet on? Would they take a prop bet?
I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, I guess anything's possible. Anybody can come up with a projection, the kind of a bet you want to make.
Do you think the Vikings, when all is said and done, at 24, just your guess, I know, do they stay there and take a player? Do they move up? Do they move back to accumulate picks? What would your guess?
Well, they got the fewest picks in the draft. For now, that's what I'm saying. My guess would be that they will try to accumulate.
That's what I think too.
Picks, but I think that. Like anything else, and you heard KOC talking about this when they say, well, look, we've put a lot of homework into all these players. And to me, it would be very tempting if one of those players, and they probably will be, one of those players that they really like is sitting there at 24, and you go, well, if I trade back with such and such a team, and I'm going to get the 32nd pick now or whatever, is that player still going to be there? Or are these two players still going to be there? That's the calculation you have to make. Because you put all that work, all that money, the resources that are put into scouting and everything else that goes on, and then you have a chance to take that player and you go, I think I'm going to pass.
Right.
I don't, that's a hard decision to make. And granted, numbers are numbers, but the Vikings are, they've had good fortune with some of the free agents they've signed and everything else. I mean, I'm of the opinion, my personal opinion would be, I'll just take the best player available at 24 that they feel that's on their board.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge that because I think there's offensive linemen, there's secondary people, there's defensive linemen. There's probably about 7-8 guys that they really like. And I'm thinking one of them is going to be there, but they might also say, well, we can make a trade with such and such a team and still get that player 6-7 picks later and get an extra pick.
Well, in taking players at a position that you already feel like you're pretty good at isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Look at Philadelphia. No. They kept drafting offensive linemen over and over and over again with the first pick because obviously you need 5 of them. It's not just like you need you need 2 running backs or 3 or 2 times. You need. But if I'm the Vikings and you're sitting there and I know you just got a new center and a new offensive line, but if all of a sudden the best left tackle in the history of the game is sitting there, you take them. Yeah. You just do. You don't leave them sitting there.
I was talking to Seifert about it when he was waiting for Do Barrero's show yesterday. I just said that, I'm a big Gray Zabel guy. I like what he represents. I have never seen him play a football game, but I know his versatility as guard, lineman. And the thing that you have to, count on is not necessarily that everybody's going to stay healthy. I mean, offensive linemen, generally speaking, can survive a football season, but we've seen teams get decimated. And if you get decimated in that offensive line, it changes everything in a hurry. And I think I go back to what happened against the Rams, and that's the firm reminder. I know they've bolstered their offensive line, but I don't think you can have enough of those guys. That's why I'm more of a Zabel type players there, or there's a couple other ones in that category.
You like this Zabel kid. I think you know something.
I don't know anything.
No, of course you don't.
Well, clearly he does because he says he likes him, yet he just admitted he's never seen him play.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen him play. I have not. I don't sit there and study the offensive line of North Dakota State.
My guess is
like
you've
heard
heard
something. You look at scouting reports.
Yeah, my guess is you've heard
something. Just say I've had an insider that was in that war room. Leave it at that.
Maybe, it could be possible Mark hasn't watched the Twins games because he's having meaningful Vikings conversations with his wife.
Well, we've had those.
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
And
interesting.
And Kevin Warren. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all working out.
You like Chicago?
I love Chicago.
It's one of your favorite towns.
It absolutely is. Yeah. Love the city.
If Kevin Warren were to go to Green Bay, would you love Green Bay as much as Chicago? No.
Not even close. Well, I'll be anxious to see how they pull off the draft tomorrow. I mean, the NFL does it, better than anybody, and the draft will still do huge numbers tomorrow night. I mean, the NHL numbers are down. I think the NBA numbers are up a little bit right now. But the draft is tomorrow night, and the sports eyeballs are all going to be on the NFL draft. I mean, they just are. It doesn't matter when you hear those 8 tones. I saw a story done, and the
8 tones. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you could be making dinner or doing whatever and having a conversation. If you hear that, you stop what you're doing,
and then Pete Rozelle comes to the mic and he says, "With the third pick in the 2025 National Football League draft." Yep. The so-and-so and so-and-so select so-and-so and so-and-so.
And then Mel Kiper's best available is up on the board. I mean, how can you go wrong?
This will be the first draft, first round that I will not be watching because I'll be en route to Brainerd. I'm picking up baby brother Peter at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport.
Heading up north.
He takes his finals tomorrow, and then he's on a plane. He lands at MSP at 8:45. I was supposed to get to the car about 9:15, which mean about right a little after 10. Right. I'm going to be north of that Anoka County line, and my trouble is going to be
we're doing Mocking the Mock Draft tomorrow.
At
Reminder.
2:00, yes.
So 2:00, my hour tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's perfect. Well, you've always been the highlight of it.
I love doing it. Love doing it.
You're the highlight of it. I mean, you're the one that helps.
I think
make the snarky commentary, and you help.
You got a lot of snarky listeners.
Yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow then at 2.
I look forward to it.
He's the legendary Mark Rosen. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
Great to see you on the golf course. Would you like to do it again sometime?
I would love to do it again.
I'm available tomorrow if you are.
I wish I was available tomorrow.
All right. We'll see. Thanks for having me. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon. Big Ticket and JGR next year on The Fan.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
Some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include a lot more people than ourselves. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, we help plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because even though our business is helping guide your finances, our ambition is to make it mean so much more. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.